Okay, you've seen it everywhere, right? That classic 9 by 9 grid. Maybe it's your morning coffee ritual, or maybe you've never even touched one. But believe me, there is a fascinating story happening behind those numbers. And in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain. I promise you are never going to look at Sudoku the same way again.
And that's really the big question, isn't it? Is this just a way to kill some time, or is there something, profound going on inside our heads when we play? Well, we're about to look right past the grid and into the science to see what's actually lighting up in your brain when you start filling in those little squares.
So first things first, let's completely reframe what this puzzle is. From a cognitive science point of view, Sudoku is what's called a constraint satisfaction problem. I know, it sounds super technical, but stick with me. It just means your brain isn't really playing a game. Oh no, it's running this incredibly complex algorithm, juggling 81 different variables against a super strict set of rules. This is a pure, hardcore logic workout.
And that right there is a huge distinction. See, a math puzzle is all about calculation, using stuff you've already learned. But Sudoku? It has nothing to do with math. You could replace the numbers with symbols and it would be the exact same puzzle. It relies entirely on logical deduction. It's targeting and training something scientists call fluid intelligence. That's your brain's ability to tackle brand new problems, to think on your feet, and to spot patterns you've literally never seen before.
Okay, so what does this brain workout actually look like? I mean, what's going on in there? Well, thanks to some seriously cool imaging technology like fMRI, we can literally watch the brain light up while someone is solving a puzzle. So let's pop the hood and meet the team of brain regions that get called up for duty. All right, the star of the show, the main player, is your prefrontal cortex, the PFC for short. I want you to think of this as your brain's command center. It's the CEO's office. This is where all the big picture planning, the tough decisions, and the grand strategy gets worked out. But, like any good CEO, it definitely doesn't work alone.
And this is what's so wild, how the work gets spread around. It's like a whole executive team in there. You've got the medial PFC acting as the main strategist, deciding, okay, what's our next move? Then the lateral PFC is the execution unit, the one that actually applies the rule. Meanwhile, you've got the parietal cortex, which is like the spatial mapper, keeping track of the whole grid so you don't get lost. And then there's the cingulate cortex. This is your internal error checker. It's the one that screams, wait, stop, right before you make a mistake. It's this incredible, perfectly coordinated dance happening inside your skull.
Okay, so if the prefrontal cortex is the command center, the C-suite, then your working memory, well, that's the engine room. This is where the real, down and dirty, heavy lifting happens. It's responsible for holding all the moving parts of the puzzle in your head at the same time.
The best way to think about it is like the RAM in your computer. You only have so much space for information you're actively working on, right? Well, Sudoku forces you to track all the possible numbers, remember all the rules, and test out different theories, all at the same time. It pushes that mental RAM to its absolute limit, which, it turns out, is exactly the kind of stress that makes it stronger over time.
So how on earth do expert players tackle those diabolical level puzzles without their brains just shutting down? The secret is a strategy called chunking. See, when a beginner looks at the grid, they see 81 individual boxes to fill. It's overwhelming, but an expert, after tons of practice, starts to see patterns. They see a pair of numbers, not as two things, but as one single chunk of information. This makes their thinking insanely efficient and frees up all that precious working memory for the really tough stuff. It's a skill you build puzzle by puzzle.
And get this, these skills aren't just about solving the puzzle that's in front of you right now. No, they're building towards some really significant long-term benefits. All this intense mental activity contributes to what researchers call your cognitive reserve. The best way to think about it is like a buffer or a rainy day fund for your brain that helps protect it against the effects of aging.
And we've got some seriously powerful data to back this up. I'm talking about the PROTECT study. This was a massive online research project run by Exeter and King's College London. And when I say massive, I mean it. They looked at the habits of over 19,000 people, from age 50 all the way up to 93.
And the results? Honestly, they were stunning. They found that people who regularly did puzzles like Sudoku had brain function that was equivalent to people a full decade younger. Let that sink in for a second. That is not a small difference. We're talking about a massive cognitive advantage. And this isn't a one-off finding either. This protective effect is backed up by other major research. For instance, the long-term Bronx aging study found that frequent puzzle solving was linked to delaying the start of accelerated memory decline by over 2.5 years. So you see, this isn't just about feeling sharper today. It's about actively building a defense for your brain's future. Which is incredible. But it brings up another question. Beyond all the benefits,
Why does it feel so good?
All right, we've established it's good for us, a real brain workout. But why does it feel so good, you know? Why is it so addictive sometimes? Well, the answer is this perfect storm of brain chemistry and psychology.
Here's what's happening. Every single time you correctly place a number, your brain gets a tiny little hit of dopamine. That aha moment, that feeling of closure, it triggers your brain's reward system. It's like a little ding that says, good job, do that again. It's this series of tiny rewards that creates a really powerful feedback loop, pushing you to solve the next clue and the one after that.
And this constant cycle of challenge and reward makes Sudoku the perfect vehicle for getting into what's known as a flow state. You know that feeling, right? Where you're so completely immersed in something that the rest of the world just kind of melts away. The puzzle is just hard enough to keep you hooked, but not so hard that you get frustrated. And when you're in that zone, your brain is so focused that the parts associated with worry and self-consciousness, they literally quiet down. It's an amazing way to reduce stress and anxiety.
So if you want to get the absolute most out of your puzzle time, the research gives us a pretty clear roadmap. Here's what you do. First, progressive overload. Just like lifting weights, you've got to keep upping the difficulty to see real gains. Second, add some variety. Don't just do Sudoku, mix in some word puzzles to give your brain a full-body workout. Third, and this is a tough one, try solving without making any notes. It's a killer way to max out your working memory. And last, but maybe most important, be consistent. The studies are clear that playing every day offers the biggest protective bang for your buck.
So, there you have it. Sudoku is so much more than just a game, isn't it? It's a targeted workout for your brain's most important functions. It's a powerful tool for building up that cognitive reserve for the future. And it's a gateway to that amazing state of focused calm. The next time you pick up a puzzle, remember, you're not just passing the time. You are actively investing in the very architecture of your brain. So the only real question is, how are you going to train your brain tomorrow?